Welcome to Truth Talk. Now, when I first began recording this particular episode, it was the night before Christmas. So welcome to the "Twas the Night Before Christmas" podcast, where we explore the magic and mystery of the most beloved Christmas poem of all time. In this episode, we'll take you on a hypnotic journey through the poem, using the technique of the legendary Milton Erickson, the father of modern hypnotherapy. You'll discover new meanings and insights in the poem, and maybe even experience some pleasant surprises along the way. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, and thank you for joining us on this special episode of "Twas the Night Before Christmas" podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay, and I'm here to guide you through a unique and delightful experience. You see, today we're going to do something different. We're going to read the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," but not in the usual way. We're going to read it in a way that will help you access your unconscious mind and tap into your inner resources of creativity, imagination, and joy. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to use the methods of Milton Erickson, the most influential and innovative hypnotist of the 20th century. Erickson was a master of using indirect suggestion, metaphor, and storytelling to help his clients overcome their problems and achieve their goals. He also had a great sense of humor and often used it to create positive changes in his clients. He believed that the unconscious mind was a source of wisdom and healing, and that hypnosis was a natural and a beneficial state that could be induced by everyday situations and conversations. He was able to hypnotize people without them even knowing it, and often used the words and behavior of his clients to create personalized and effective suggestions. He was a genius of utilization, as he called it, and today we're going to use his style and techniques to read the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" and have some fun along the way. Before we begin, I want to remind you that this podcast is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any medical or psychological condition. If you have any health concerns, please consult your doctor before listening to this podcast. Also, please make sure that you are in a safe and comfortable place where you won't be disturbed or distracted for the next 15 minutes or so. You can listen to this podcast with your eyes open or closed, whichever you prefer. Just make sure that you pay attention to my voice and follow my instructions as best as you can. Don't worry if you don't understand everything I say, or if you drift off into your own thoughts or feelings. That's perfectly normal and natural. And it means that you're entering a state of trance, which is what we want. Trance is a wonderful state of mind where you can relax, learn, and enjoy yourself. It's like a dream, but you're awake and aware of what's happening. And in this trance, you'll be able to experience the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" in a new and exciting way. Are you ready? Good. Then let's begin. Now, I want you to take a deep breath and let it out slowly. And as you do that, I want you to imagine that you're in your own home on the night before Christmas. Maybe you're in your living room or your bedroom or wherever you feel most comfortable. And as you look around, you notice that everything is ready for the big day. The tree is decorated. The stockings are hung. The presents are wrapped. And the cookies and milk are waiting for Santa. And you feel a sense of anticipation and wonder and joy. And you also feel a sense of calm and peace and gratitude. And as you feel these feelings, you notice that your body is relaxing and your mind is quieting. And you realize that you're in the perfect state of mind to listen to the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." not just any poem, but a special poem that has a special meaning for you. And as you listen to the poem, you'll discover what that meaning is and how it can help you in your life. And you'll also discover that the poem is full of surprises and humor and magic. And you'll enjoy every word and every image and every sound. And you'll have a wonderful time listening to the poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Now, I'm going to read the poem to you. And as I do, I want you to listen carefully and let the words and the rhythm and the rhyme flow into your mind. And as you listen, you'll notice that some of the words and phrases are different from what you remember or what you expect. And that's because I've changed them a little bit to make it more interesting and more hypnotic and more fun. And as you hear these changes, you'll find them amusing and curious and intriguing. And you'll also find them meaningful and helpful and inspiring. And you'll wonder what they mean and how they relate to you and what they can teach you. And you'll also wonder what other changes I've made and what other surprises I have in store for you. And you'll be eager to hear more and more and more. And you'll enjoy every moment of listening to the poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So are you ready? Good. Then here we go. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were all nestled and snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. kerchief, and I and my cat had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. And away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters. Now, as you listen, you'll notice that the story becomes more and more interesting and more hypnotic and more fun. And you'll also notice that you become more and more relaxed and more curious and more happy. And you'll enjoy every moment of listening to the poem. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So here we go. So I tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with the little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles the courses they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the... And as you listen, you'll notice that the story becomes more and more amazing and more hypnotic and more fun. And you'll also notice that you become more and more relaxed and more fascinated and more happy. And you'll enjoy every moment of listening to the poem. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So, here we go. All right. So to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop, the courses they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow. And the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf. And I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." And that's the end of the poem. 'Twas the night before Christmas. I hope you enjoyed listening to it, and I hope you learned something new and interesting from it. Maybe you noticed some of the changes I made, and maybe you wondered why I made them. Maybe you found some of them funny, and maybe you found some of them hypnotic. Maybe you felt some of the emotions and sensations that the poem described, and maybe you imagined some of your own. Maybe you discovered some of the meanings and messages that the poem conveyed, and maybe you applied some of them to your own life. Maybe you had a wonderful time listening to the poem. 'twas the night before Christmas. And maybe, just maybe, you realize that this poem is not just a poem, but a gift. A gift from me to you, and a gift from you to yourself. A gift of relaxation and curiosity and happiness. A gift of creativity and imagination and joy. A gift of magic and mystery and wonder. A gift of love and gratitude and peace. A gift that you can enjoy and appreciate and share. A gift that you can open and use and remember. A gift that you can keep and cherish and treasure. A gift that you can give and receive and celebrate. A gift that you can have and hold and enjoy. A gift that you can have and hold and enjoy. And as you think about this gift and how it makes you feel, you can also think about the other gifts that you have in your life. The gifts of family and friends and loved ones. The gifts of health and wealth and happiness. The gifts of knowledge and wisdom and growth. The gifts of passion and purpose and fulfillment. The gifts of beauty and grace and harmony. The gifts of faith and hope and love. The gifts that you have and the gifts that you give. The gifts that you receive and the gifts that you share. The gifts that you celebrate and the gifts that you appreciate. The gifts that make your life wonderful and meaningful and joyful. The gifts that make your life wonderful and meaningful and joyful. And as you think about these gifts and how they make you feel, you can also think about the gift of this podcast and how it makes you feel. And you can thank yourself for listening to this podcast and for giving yourself this gift. And you can thank me for creating this podcast and for giving you this gift. And you can thank the poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and for giving us this gift. And you can say thanks to Milton Erickson for giving us his gift. And you can thank Santa Claus for giving us his gift. And you can thank everyone and everything that gives you gifts and makes your life better and happier and more wonderful. And you can thank everyone and everything that gives you gifts and makes your life better and happier and more wonderful. And as you thank everyone and everything that gives you gifts and that makes your life better and happier and more wonderful, you can also feel a sense of gratitude and appreciation and love. And you can feel these feelings in your heart and in your mind and in your body. And as you can feel these feelings spreading throughout your whole being and filling you with warmth and light and joy, and you can feel these feelings radiating from you and reaching out to others and touching them with kindness and generosity and compassion. And you can feel these feelings connecting you with others and creating a bond of friendship and trust and respect. And you can feel these feelings uniting you with others and forming a community of harmony and peace and goodwill. And you can feel these feelings inspiring you to give and to receive and to celebrate. And you can feel these feelings motivating you to live and to love and to enjoy. And you can feel these feelings empowering you to be and to do and to have. And you can feel these feelings empowering you to be, to do, and to have. And as you feel these feelings, and as you think these thoughts, and as you listen to these words, you can also realize that this is the end of this podcast episode. And you can realize that this is the end of this hypnotic journey. And you can realize that this is the end of this wonderful experience. And you can realize that this is the end of this wonderful experience. And as you realize that this is the end of this wonderful experience, you can also realize that you can come back to this wonderful experience anytime you want. You can listen to this podcast again and again and again. You can read the poem again and again and again. You can enjoy the gift again and again and again. You can have this wonderful experience again and again and again. And you can have this wonderful experience again and again and again. And as you realize that you can have this wonderful experience again and again and again, you can also realize that you can have other wonderful experiences in your life. You can have wonderful experiences with your family and friends and loved ones. You can have wonderful experiences with your dreams and goals and aspirations. You can have wonderful experiences with yourself and with others and with the world. You can have wonderful experiences with yourself and with others and with the world. And as you realize that you can have wonderful experiences with yourself and with others in the world, you can also realize that you are ready to return to your normal waking state of consciousness. You are ready to open your eyes and look around and to see what's happening. You're ready to stretch your body and move around and to feel what's happening. You're ready to hear the sounds and to smell the scents and to taste the flavors. You're ready to be fully awake, alert, and aware. You are ready to be fully awake and alert and aware. And as you realize that you are ready to be fully awake and alert and aware, you can also realize that you can count from 1 to 5. And when you reach 5, you will be fully awake and alert and aware. And you will feel great and refreshed and energized. And you will remember everything that happened in this podcast and in this poem and in this gift. And you will be happy and grateful and proud. And you will be ready to enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your night and the rest of your life. And you will be ready to enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your night and the rest of your life. So let's count from 1 to 5. And when we reach 5, we will be fully awake and alert and aware. And we will feel great and refreshed and energized. And we will remember everything that happened in this podcast and in this poem and in this gift. And we will be happy and grateful and proud. All right. Let's continue with the podcast. And as we do, I want you to count from 1 to 5. And when you reach 5, as I said, you will be fully awake and alert and aware. Now, so let's count from 1 to 5. And when we reach 5, we will be fully awake and alert and aware. And we will feel great and refreshed and energized. And we will remember everything that happened in this podcast and in this poem and in this gift. And we will be happy and grateful and proud. And we will be ready to enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your night and the rest of your life. One, you're starting to wake up and you feel more alert and aware. You're starting to notice the sounds around you and the sensations in your body. You're starting to feel more energized and refreshed. 2, you're becoming more and more awake and more alert and aware. You're becoming more and more aware of your surroundings and your feelings. You're becoming more refreshed and energized. 3, you're almost fully awake and fully alert and aware. You're fully aware of your environment and your emotions. You're fully energized and refreshed. 4, you're fully awake and fully alert and aware. You're fully present and fully conscious. You're fully refreshed and energized. 5, you are awake and alert and aware. You are feeling great and refreshed and energized. You're remembering everything that happened in this podcast and in this poem and in this gift. You're happy and grateful and proud. You are ready to enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, and the rest of your life. You are ready to enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, and the rest of your life. And that is the end of this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you had a wonderful experience. I hope you learned something new and interesting. And I hope you had some fun and laughter. I hope you felt some magic and wonder. And I hope you felt some love and peace. I hope you enjoyed the poem, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." And I hope you enjoyed the gift of this podcast. Thank you for listening. And thank you for joining me on this hypnotic journey. Thank you for your attention. And thank you for your participation. Thank you for your feedback. And thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being you. Really, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I wish you all the best and all the happiness. I wish you all the love and all the peace. I wish you all the joy and all the fun. I wish you all the magic and all the wonder. I wish you all the gifts and all the celebration. I wish you all the gifts and all the celebration. This is Charles Lindsay, your certified clinical hypnotherapist, signing off. Until next time, take care and have a great day. See you next time on Truth Talk.